せてばかりでごめんな。ホームルームで放たれた言葉たちに思わず下を向いて溢れた、どこにも行き場のないしょっぱい気持ちたち、突然閉ざされた日々で戸惑う時間すら耐えられずに、先の見えない渦の中でそれでも明るい光はあった。くだらないことで笑い転げたり怒鳴り合って互いを傷つけ合ったり、決して綺麗なだけじゃなかった、むしろ泥だらけだったな僕らの燃ゆる日々。これから僕らどうなるんだろう、小さな声でつぶやく君、寂しさ混じりの横顔、眩しい西日が照らしてい
Good evening and welcome back to the Dwarven Fortress of Keskalokil, where my meters say that I'm speaking slightly too loudly. Let me turn myself down a bit. There, that's better. Right, so where were we? We were... there's no one watching this, I don't know why I'm bothering to talk. We were trying to sort out A, getting our dwarves to be able to have children, and B, making them swim better. We have failed utterly on the getting dwarves to have children so far. We did get the swimming pool working, except that when we filled it with water, all the dwarves climbed up the walls to get out, which was unhelpful. So I need to do something to stop them doing that. I have some ideas, though. I don't think this will be hard. At least we can make it such that they either have to climb up the wall. If they climb up the wall, they can't actually escape and will really have to hang there on the wall, improving their climbing skill, instead of sitting in the water, improving their swimming skill. And maybe if they improve their climbing skill enough, they won't get stuck on the roof. Claire says, you sound too loud for your mic. Ooh, have I got too much gain there? Let's try... Yeah, that looks like that's clipping somewhere. Let's turn that down until it stops clipping. That seems better, yes. And then turn this up here so that we're back at the correct volume. So, do I sound... Hang on, bit down a bit. There. Do I sound correct now, Claire? Right, good. We apologise for that. Somehow my laptop had decided it wanted to turn the microphone gain all the way up to lots. Let's turn that down a bit further, actually. Give myself a bit of headroom. There, yes. No, up a bit more. I don't know. This is all getting confusing. Right, that's probably good enough. That allows me to saturate things at that level at least, and probably not at another level. Right, I'll listen to this afterwards and discover how badly wrong I got it. I could, I suppose, plug my headphones in, set them to monitor, and hear myself coming back half a second later, and that will, yeah.
Drive you absolutely mad.
Right, so where are we? We are, yes, we were going. There is this awkward problem that the dwarves keep climbing out of the swimming pool.
That makes me think of lemmings. They're swimmers and climbers, doesn't it? Make them athletes.
Yeah, I would like to make them swimmers and climbers, but the problem is they climb and therefore don't learn to swim.
Get them before they learn to climb, except you haven't got any new ones.
I think what I can do, though, is creatures in general can't climb up an overhang that then has a vertical wall above it. So an overhang, a lip they can climb over, but not like dog leg sticking outwards in the wall.
I see, you're going to make a high security swimming pool.
Yes. So what I think we want to do is essentially to build a wall around the inside of the swimming pool slightly inwards. It doesn't actually need to go all the way around the swimming pool because this side already has such an overhang by virtue of being slightly bigger underground than overground. So I reckon we can just go something like this, build a wall along there. Let's try to do it out of something other than wood. We haven't got that much wood available. And also we'll want to build the wall down this side, I think. And I think that, you can tell we've just drained the swimming pool. This river is now quite flooded because we've just dumped a load of water into the pumped drainage system, which has then got pumped back out into the river, which is fine. It's where we'll get the water from again in a bit. Well, if they become really good climbers, maybe they'll stop getting stuck in trees.
They might be really good climbers in the way that cats are. They can go up but not down.
Meanwhile, I think this bridge is almost finished, so our goblin drowning system might be almost ready. But no one is... Oh, it's got suspended again. Let's unsuspend that. We'd also like to remove... We might want to remove that ramp. I'm just wondering if we can build a wall in this gap to stop the dwarves climbing up there. Let's just mark that ramp for removal. Oops, we're trying to butcher things again. We should stop that. Stopping building that copper bridge. There's no good reason for you to do that. You aren't even logging a message telling me why you've stopped building it. I mean, meanwhile, we could try filling, now that we've got three dwarves back in there, we should probably fill it with water again. Like, even if they don't manage to get out, even if they manage to get out, in the meantime, they'll learn a bit of swimming. Yeah, we're already down to 2. Where's the other one gone? Oh, hang on. No, I don't want to pull that lever yet. Suspend pulling that lever. First, you need to pull this lever, which is to switch the filling system back to fill the reservoir. Right, has that one got suspended again, I wonder? No, someone's working on the bridge again. Good. Right, they've stuck one more copper into it, I presume. Yep, and they're still working on the next one. Good, good. It is now summer, and we've received some tribute from someone. We are gratuitously, very briefly, but quite very vigorously flooding that space. Happily it's drained, so the dwarves will be able to, will only very briefly learn to swim before the water runs away again. But possibly we do need to organise things a little better so that the... Yes, how do you think you get the water out again?
Well, right, but without a plug.
Oh no, it has a plug, but the problem is that there's a sequencing problem. I have one lever that simultaneously turns off the pump to fill the swimming pool, or rather, there's a reservoir above the swimming pool which is carefully calibrated so that when it's completely full, it has a volume suitable for filling the swimming pool to a level that will teach dwarves to swim but not drown them. So the reservoir is slightly smaller than the swimming pool, so that the water ends up with a slightly lower level in the swimming pool. And then there's a switch that simultaneously turns off the pump that fills that and opens the floor underneath it to drop all the water into the swimming pool. That's all very well, except it isn't actually simultaneous because the pump control happens instantaneously and the floor being removed happens 100 ticks later, which is fine in that direction. But when you throw that switch the other way, the pump turns on and then 100 ticks later the floor of the reservoir appears. Meanwhile, 100 ticks worth of water have just got dumped into the swimming pool, which would drown all the dwarves in there if you hadn't carefully opened the plug hole first. So you have to make sure the drain is open and then set the switch back to don't try to fill the swimming pool. That dumps a load of water into the swimming pool until the things sort themselves out, which then drains. Now we have the reservoir full. Oh dear, it's another... Right, let's hope that this strange mood goes better than the last one. And we've got some tribute, and I bet it's terrible. We should get more tribute from the elves. They send us interesting animals. Yeah, that's not very good. 1 reindeer leather backpack, 5 prepared reindeer heart, 1 horse leather bag, and 1 sandy clay. Right, so now we can close the drain. Yes, what I would like is to sort out that sequencing a bit better so that it doesn't all go backwards. Oh dear, I think 2 of my tame animals are fighting one another, which shouldn't really happen. And a stray wombat has been found dead. Well, that's nice. Quite a lot of goblins have been found dead as well. We're doing very badly at throwing away dead things. Right, that lever's been pulled. Now we can pull the fill lever again. Oh, I wonder if building the bridge gets suspended if I schedule a very high priority job. Oh, you've claimed a mechanics workshop. I think that's probably going to go okay. Indeed, you're off collecting your first item, which means we stand some chance of sorting this out. Wee splish, right. So this time that water should end up a sensible depth. Though it has ended up with a load of river spirits mixed in with it. Well, someone tried to drink in the swimming pool. So the chances are they're going to manage to get out of the swimming pool because people keep being able to do that. So I wonder how we would improve the sequencing. But as long as there's someone stuck in the water, we'll let them stay there learning to swim. Skilled climber, a very rusty skilled climber admittedly, so probably hasn't actually exercised that skill yet recently. And you're in the middle of the swimming pool, so it's going to take you a little while to get out. But yes, here is a dwarf who I think is... Oh, it's a new vile force of darkness.
How's the drowning?
The drowning chamber sadly still needs the... So here's a dwarf climbing out of the swimming pool, I think. The drowning chamber still needs its roof, its bridge fitting. Right, there we go. Dwarf climbs out of the swimming pool and runs away. Which is why we want to make that harder to do. This dwarf is in a slightly more awkward position. But while I wasn't looking, has, I think, got themselves out as well. Right. Like if we had the drowning chamber finished, I might want to grant this. Right, so let's drain that pool again. Pool now. It's not an immediate hurry. Let's try not to accidentally pull the person off building the bridge. So the new goblins have arrived further north than I would have liked. On the other hand, have any of them are they just getting themselves trapped confusingly? Because like they've arrived and in enormous. No, I think they're dodging the traps. That's a bit alarming. Well, let's go and talk to them anyway. Like, the mayor can probably get there. Maybe we should lower the bridges so that we can more easily. What are you doing, you guys? Just randomly fighting, it looks like. So, yes, that's quite a lot of goblins. We will see if the mayor can go and talk to them. The mayor is currently busy drinking. Well, let's lower the southern bridge then, because I think that probably makes it a bit easier for the mayor to get there without getting tangled up with giant albatrosses. So how would I sequence this better? What I really want... Oh, would that have worked? Yes, I've worked out what would have worked. What I should have done is made the bridge fold up against the edge of the... Yeah, that's our moody dwarf has dropped dead because he wasn't drinking anything. What I should have done is arranged, rather than a retracting bridge, that the bridge folded up to block the pump, because then the water could only come out of the pump with the bridge in the lowered position. I don't think it would hurl all the water into the air when it raised then. Okay, maybe we should try that. We might need to construct... Oh, is there a floor there? There's a floor there and an attempt at building a wall, which is not currently underway. Let's cancel building a wall there, because I think that will be useful as a place to stand when building the bridge. We should, I think, instead build a ramp there. But I can't build that now. Let's see if we can build it with the bridge in the other state. So we want... If we got a drain close order, no, let's add one of those. Actually, I kind of want to build a staircase instead of a ramp anyway. So, There's still rather a lot of water down there. Maybe I should open that drain again. Stoats.
Then I slash include PDF, all the files, and then the PDF later. Yeah. What a weird thing to do.
Because yes, I don't like the amount of water in this drain. Right, let's wait for that to drain.
It says
Oh dear, it's more giant hamsters. Oh well.
PDF tech warning, PDF latex. Yes. Well, you said you want a big file. I have a big file which makes the title page, so it runs lots of separate commands. It's a Perl program. Okay. So.
Right, let's wait for that to finish draining. Go on, finish draining. I'd just like this one thing of depth 2 to move to the right hand end where it'll fall down the drain.
I could find out, but it's currently still waiting for doing it. But given it is a PDF later mentioned here, and that's only called once in the program.
Well, that's probably dealt with that giant albatross a bit.
PDF inclusion, so could we just the include that command? Include using machine is actually cancelled.
Right, I think that's probably close enough to empty.
Sorry? This thing has a smaller mouth instead.
Let's pull that lever again to close the drain. And then we probably want to fill the thing simply so that the so that we can build or demolish and then rebuild that bridge. Oh God, this is going to be quite complicated actually, because we have to build the bridge in the state where it's filled with water.
This feels suboptimal.
Can we do this without demolishing the windmill? Let's try it and see what happens. Let's lock the door so that no one can drown in the process. Ha. That's rather optimistic saying that so that no one can drown. Someone can probably drown.
By default, PDF later will create PDF version 1.5 file. It seems that when you open PDF practice version 1.6 of the product, chances are it doesn't use any of the features of 1.6. You can either recreate the graphics or you can add /PDF minor version 6. Graphics /minor version 7.
Where's the mayor got to anyway? Sleeping. Okay. Yes, we wouldn't want the mayor going out and trying to talk to the goblins while sleep deprived. Right, now we can operate the pool fill again. That should then allow us to build. Why is the goblin fighting? Oh! You've stabbed one of our cats and then been uneasy about the experience.
Death is all around us because I caused it.
Meanwhile, one of the goblin crossbowmen is shooting our giant hamsters.
Well, that at least is doing you a favour.
Would you mind not shooting my giant hamsters? I think the goblins may have decided to attack. That's not nice. Look, give us a chance. Our mayor's busy eating, or possibly drinking, or sleeping, or something. Right, well, let's get ourselves organised then, since apparently the goblins aren't waiting for us this time. See if any of the giant hamsters are managing to like do anything. Not yet, certainly. I mean, I think the giant hamsters are proving to be an efficient distraction. But sadly, the giant hamsters are fundamentally a bit soft and not inclined to actually fight back when presented with a ravening goblin horde.
I think adding that minor version equals adding keys to stop domestic something. It seems not to make a difference. Maybe I should rewrite this one to just PDF decay them all together rather than including them in such a time like refresh.
Yeah, none of the giant hamsters appears to have actually attempted to fight back at all. So yeah, I fear our giant hamsters may be acting as precisely the ablative meat shield I was kind of hoping they would be.
I don't get some other one of those, but the same version of PDF.
I mean, this is kind of spreading the goblins out, which is good. And
The giant hamsters having a diluting effect.
yes, raven hatchlings have hatched. Stray raven hatchling.
Surely raven eggs have hatched.
Shush. Comes into the world, is immediately overcome by terror. Welcome to the world, raven hatchling.
Well, it is full of goblins.
Yes, you've managed to arrive in the middle of a goblin siege. Let me make sure that you have a trainer assigned to you. Let's wait for the end of the siege before we do that, actually. There's still another batch of eggs here, another 4 eggs here, which we're hoping will hatch soon. I think a lot of the goblins are managing to wander straight into our traps, which is nice. Some of the giant hamsters haven't been killed yet, it looks like. How are we doing for giant hamsters then? Yeah, we've still got quite a lot of them.
Only the number of giant hamsters.
Right, there's quite a lot of dead ones now, but... And the live ones, I think, have mostly fled the area with the goblins in. Where are... Oh, Sodel Atirog, were you trying to train some animals? No, you're actually somewhere sensible, it looks like. Well, when I say somewhere sensible, I mean in the river. You're an adequate swimmer, you'll be fine. That, on the other hand, is a drowning goblin.
Well, I think this is perfectly normal behaviour for a goblin.
Okay, this is now a drowning Sodalatirog. Stop drowning. You're able to swim. Look. It says here, adequate swimmer, brackets rusty. I mean, maybe you need to get the rust off. Please don't drown. That will be embarrassing. Right, there, you've stopped drowning.
Maybe
Your swimming is no longer rusty. Right. You've de-rusted your swimming skills.
maybe being in a martial trance inhibits swimming a bit.
I don't think so. I think it was simply that rust means that your skill behaves briefly as though it's 1 or 2 levels lower than it would usually be. And I think adequate is the minimum level for effectively being able to swim. Dabbling and novice are such that you will nonetheless drown in sufficiently deep water. So Delatirog, having rusty adequate swimming, was briefly forgot how to swim, but was able to learn before actual drowning happened. And so is now probably comfortably in a martial trance in the river, unlike these goblins who are hurling themselves in and drowning. Right, that's probably good.
Stupid vassal, I can't press your claims against this person because I'm in a defensive pact against them. You need to declare the war. I can't do it. I can't back you because then I'm going to fall down.
Okay, apparently I can't mark that bridge for removal while... Okay, I may actually have to disconnect that pump because I don't think I can't select this invisible bridge while it's invisible. And so I can't mark it for removal. I think. Oh no, it's at this level, isn't it? Oh, I can mark it for removal. Right, let's mark that bridge for removal. Which might not actually be possible. So let's also build a staircase from there down to there.
If we use these maximise window things, this one here was fully maximised both horizontally and vertically. If this one I maximise vertically,
So, have we got a decent number of military here? No, we've got 1. And 1 is in the river in a martial trance, which is like a pretty good place to be in a martial trance, to be fair. That's a lot of dead giant hamsters, but still nowhere near as many as we've got live giant hamsters. Well, that's a lot of missing going on. It would be nice if the Spearmaster could do something, mind. I mean, the Spearmaster is being in the river, tempting the goblins into the river, which is proving quite effective. Okay, you're bleeding for some reason. Oh right, you've met one of my weapon traps, haven't you? Yes. Nice thing about weapon traps is they don't get tired. But they do still leave your goblins in lots of little pieces all over the floor, which is kind of awkward to tidy up. All right, that's where all the hamsters are. What are you doing? Right, you aren't doing anything good.
Lord, I've managed to get my kingdom to full status of women. Good Lord.
Well done.
Oh, wow.
It's easier to just become whatever religion I became, Missalian.
No, well, I've been doing it patiently over the last, 50 years.
Oh good, the goblins are getting distracted by the giant hamsters again.
No more than that, because I had to first build up enough tolerance.
Why? What are you doing? Why are you going that way? Like, you have no job. Let me explicitly ask the Veiled Smiths to not be there. You guys should be like somewhere around here.
If you value your lives, be somewhere else.
Yes. I mean, or start hitting the goblins very hard. I don't really mind. Yes, right. Now you've turned into an axe lord and are going to stand there in a crowd of, well, actually not very much of a crowd of giant hamsters, but
Talking to Axolotl.
axe lord. I mean, I'd like you to still be somewhere different, mind, but
I mean, turning into an axolotl is probably better than turning into a giant hamster.
because in particular, if you stay that far ahead of the line, you're going to end up getting tired. We've got 2 dwarves turned up to fight. That's still not enough. Oh, there's a 3rd one coming. Yeah, you're getting tired already. This is a problem. I told you to station somewhere else, but the problem is that you're not... That while you will stop doing completely useless things, you will not actually go to where I've told you to go when there are goblins you could be fighting, even though I really want you not to be the only person fighting these goblins. Okay, I think given what we've got here, I'm going to send the amphibious dwarves in, because I think the goblins are going to be fairly disorganised. And so we probably don't actually need very many dwarves to distract them. Let's allow the dwarves to arrive in the hope that they will slowly take the goblins apart, and this dwarf will not actually get himself hopelessly overwhelmed. Slightly worried by after experiencing trauma there. Okay, I don't think they mean it in the medical sense. And you've got 3 goblins around you now, and yes, they are quite badly injured, but the giant hamsters are doing their best to recover. Just given birth to 3 more. Hey, dwarves, if you could start running towards the enemy, that would be good, because the enemy are kind of overwhelming our poor Zassit here. And if he passes out, he's probably not going to live. I think that suggests that the Goblin Swordsman is not as solid as the Axe Lord. Goblin Swordsman charges at the Axe Lord. The Goblin Swordsman collides with the Axe Lord. The Goblin Swordsman is knocked over and tumbles backwards.
Was the axe sword moving?
I don't think so, but I could be confused.
Because that suggests that also the collision was perfectly elastic.
Well, steel is very bouncy. Stop scratching them in the teeth. That causes a phenomenal number of objects, which then have to be picked up one at a time. Yeah, okay, that was a pretty good attack. I'm sure he doesn't need his pancreas.
I mean, at this rate, all the goblins keep missing, and the axe lord keeps doing like 1 kill per hit.
Yeah, the problem is that this is tiring. And if the Axe Lord passes out through exhaustion, then she'll have nothing to, she'll be unable to defend herself.
She's just unmartial trance.
Yes, that's not a good sign. See, now they're starting to be able to hit. Still removing the arms of the goblins is an excellent way to stop them being able to attack, at least. But there, she's twisted her ankle and torn a tendon in her left ankle, and thus is no longer able to stand. Right, where are the reinforcements? They're still here. So yes, I'm not hopeful for the long-term survival of our Axe Lord. Where's she gone? Has she died already? Not yet. She is listed as exhausted. And like part of the problem is that these guys are busy dealing with other goblins. So yes, this is the usual way in which things go wrong, is that someone who is too far ahead of the rest of the squad, by virtue in this case of having been out there training hamsters, I think, or possibly building a bridge, gets stuck and passes out through exhaustion while fighting goblins, and we can't get the reinforcements to her in time. And like when she does get a hit in, it's a good one, but Well, some of them are good anyway. But now she's lost her axe, so yeah. Passed out from exhaustion. She won't last long now. Couldn't get the reinforcements to her quickly enough. Now someone's taken her helmet off, so yeah. I think that was probably fatal. Yes. Oh. We tried to negotiate with them. Worried that this dwarf is going to get tired soon. They're not tired yet. And at least your reinforcements are actually going to reach you. Along apparently with a giant peach-faced lovebird. I think those were slightly more vicious than the giant hamsters. See, at least the giant peach-faced lovebirds do attack the goblins. Ah, see, giant peach-faced lovebirds are useful, even if you can't officially train them for war. Like, I'm not sure this goblin is going to last very long in the face of a giant peach-faced lovebird. Oh, that was a good attack, though.
My brain has just come up with the strange slogan, make lovebirds, not warbirds.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Just in case anyone didn't catch that, Simon suggests the slogan, make lovebirds, not warbirds. And, well, our lovebirds are turning out to be pretty decent warbirds, at least compared to the hamsters. That wasn't good for the peach-faced lovebird's leg, though. See, one of the things about Dwarf Fortress is that because it is needlessly simulationist, once you start getting hurt, you get much less good at fighting. I mean, I could be watching what the dwarves are up to, but... Ow. Oh dear, giant peach-faced lovebird has given in to pain. I fear the goblin is now going to win, or the goblins are now going to win, if it doesn't get saved by the dwarves. And frankly, dwarves are having a bit of fun.
You can see the one you want back at bar thing that work.
But a lot of the goblins are drowning, which is nice. I'm just a little worried about Oddom here, who is getting exhausted. Hang on. I've improved my misc object. What are you using to fight with? Why is your miscellaneous object skill just improved?
You begin bashing monsters with your miscellaneous objects.
Yes. You're aware Nakuthokir was what she kept hitting things with, wasn't it? Nakuthokir is a shield. Right, yes. Why, my dear Oddom, are you bashing people with your shield? Have you forgotten to bring a weapon with you? Have you? You've forgotten to bring a weapon with you. You've turned up to this fight at least wearing steel boots and a steel shirt and steel leggings and a steel helmet, a steel left gauntlet. Oh, and a steel left gauntlet and a shield in your left hand. You don't have a right arm. Right, well that might explain why you've got no weapon, I suppose. Also, you shouldn't be in the military. I'll take you out of the military after this war.
Basically unbreakable, but somehow still walk around.
Let's put that in capitals, it's a nickname. Because, yes, you should not actually be in the military, for all that you're doing a pretty decent job for a dwarf who's turned up to a battle with no weapons. I just hope someone else can catch up with you. I mean, I think, yes, there's someone in the river at least. Though that is admittedly Sodel Atirog, who I think has been there for a while. Yeah, as far as I can see, Sodel Atirog is just sitting in the river being missed, which is, like, not the most helpful thing to be doing. You could get out of the river. I appreciate a lot of the goblins are in the river with you, but still. Like, there are more dwarves coming. But I'm a little worried that Oddom might not last. Especially given that she doesn't have a weapon with her. She is standing in amongst a load of weapon traps, admittedly. So, like, possibly she can just stand there and let the weapon traps take out the goblins while she... So there aren't weapon traps in the squares adjacent to her. I mean, okay, there's no weapon trap in that square because there's no ground in that square. So the goblin in that square might find it a bit hard to attack her. Oh, is that Sodel Atirog having got out of the river? Oh no, there's Momo's Avazlula here. You're stressed but not tired yet. Excellent. Right, you're reasonably close to Oddom. Maybe you can deal with some more of the goblins then. Maybe she won't pass out. Where's she gone? All right, she's fallen in the river. That's probably good. As long as she doesn't pass out, she's a legendary swimmer. She probably won't pass out through exhaustion while in the river then. And maybe she can relax a bit down there. I mean, there are lots of goblins down there, but they are all busy drowning. Almost Ava's Lula is apparently in mid-air. What have you been doing? How did you land like that? There's a peach-faced lovebird in the air there. Can I click on it? No. Yes, the military dwarves are seem to be doing all right at getting themselves into the right place, apart from the one who was way ahead of the line and got killed. And like, we are fighting this battle precisely where we want to fight it, on the edge of the in the delta, so that goblins can keep falling in the water. You're about to start drowning. I mean, it's possible some goblins can swim, of course, but most of them don't seem to turn up here with much by way of swimming skill. Oh dear, she died. Yes, well, that's what you get for running into battle without a weapon. I mean, you had an excuse that you didn't have a right hand, but still. Oh dear, Mama's Ava's Lula's died as well. What's the number of goblins we've got looking like? Still quite a scary quantity. Why are you standing over there, dwarves? Pretty sure I ordered all of you over here. Oh, you're in the Veiled Smiths. What are you doing up there then? Are these all members of the Veiled Smiths? No, you're in the Salty Inks. So the Salty Inks... Oh, the Salty Inks was for some reason not selected. Yeah. Salty Inks over there.
Mobilised insufficient squads.
Yes. Right, well, the Salty Inks appear to be... That appears to have given me enough dwarves at the front line to actually start pushing back into goblin territory. Right, I think, annoyingly, half of my dwarves are chasing down the remaining goblins, and half of them are staying at the point I told them to station at. So let's try to fix that.
It was too arm room.
But I think we have just broken the back of this siege now. Right, siege officially over. Let's just see what that means by way of... I think we may have pushed a bunch of the goblins into the cage traps. Right. Okay, yes, the siege is genuinely over. Cancel everyone's orders. And yes, we lost 2 dwarves in that, I think. Possibly 3. 3 dwarves in that, which is not nice. Plus, like, an uncounted number of giant hamsters, but I bet we've still got too many of them.
That's what giant hamsters are for, isn't it?
Yes. I wonder if we should, like, chain them all up so that they can't run away from the goblins. That might be at least amusing. But really, they asked for a parley, and, like, apparently that was not actually within our capability to organise. I'm pretty sure I clicked accept. You could try marking all these giant hamster corpses for dumping, but I bet it won't happen. Well, I mean, if our Diziat says, it seems to me you're going to need to do something drastic to fix the population problem. Well, in worst case, we end up actually abandoning this fortress and then reclaiming it with a new batch of dwarves and seeing if that fixes it. But, like, while we can still operate with the number of dwarves we've got, I think it's moderately interesting to like be in a situation of trying to manage a declining fortress rather than a growing one. And we are working on trying to get them to marry. Just hasn't worked yet. And of course, we've just locked a bunch of dwarves out of their own, barracks, so those ones can't train, and they'll end up socialising instead. I mean, clearly the socialising isn't working very well here. Hasn't managed to get beyond having passing acquaintances, for instance. Oh, we may have lost our only dedicated metal worker. Oh no, we have one.
Having left nose for about 15 minutes, it suddenly just crashed and died. So I wonder if there's a screensaver problem generally affects also about that kind of thing.
Let's just randomly assign someone else to metalworking, so it's not just one person. We have artifact hematite mechanisms. She is claimed as a family heirloom. Oh, it's quite a valuable one. This is a hematite mechanisms. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round conglomerate cabochons, decorated with sheep wool and encircled with bands of square brilliant cut fire agates and rectangular conglomerate cabochons. This object is adorned with hanging rings of persimmon wood and menaces with spikes of hematite. On the item is an image of dwarves in sandstone. The dwarves are laughing. The artwork relates to the recital of the learned poem held by the Orbs of Yore in Reichbold as part of the Helmed celebration in the midsummer of 48 during the 25th poetry recital of the Helmed celebration. So there. See, dwarves celebrate poetry as well as battles and politics. Oh yes, we should mark the new Raven chicks as needing training temporarily. Before they become wild, which would be embarrassing. Which might mean we want to take Sodalaterog off hamster training again. Simply because the hamsters take all the time. Maybe we should deliberately have one person whose role is training hamsters and someone else whose role is training everything that isn't a hamster. I mean, if some of the hamsters go wild, that's fine, because as far as I can tell, giant hamsters are completely harmless. So how do we assign someone who doesn't? Oh, we could assign other people if we allowed them to train animals. Of course, we're currently locking most people out of most tasks in order to persuade them to socialise instead. Yes, obviously what we should be doing is finding some way to recruit these goblin armies into our fortress. Like, you know, we've got 100 spare bedrooms here. Would you like to join us? We've got 22,000 food and nearly 10,000 drink down there. Much more pleasant here than in a goblin pits. I mean, I think that the giant hamsters did somewhat serve their purpose as ablative meat. Maybe. Not sure. This is taking an awful lot of clicking. And the distance between these two buttons is slightly wider than the width of my trackpad, I think. Oh, I can do it. If I get enough acceleration in, I can do it. No, not quite. There we go. Giant hamsters are now up to knowledgeable in our training abilities.
Does that mean they're knowledgeable or we know how to
We know how to train giant hamsters better than we know how to train anything else. Well, better than we know how to train anything else that wasn't already domesticated at the start of the game. We're knowledgeable about the training of giant hamsters. Allegedly. Right, good. Someone is working on the bridge for drowning goblins for the drowning of. And now probably going back to... Oh. Right, yes. Find some more copper. Well, the mayor seems to be popular, despite having failed to deflect that last goblin invasion. So if we were to like set up some chains here, could we tie the hamsters to them? If we set the hamsters up very close to the edge of the river, do you think we could tempt the goblins into falling into the river? Got a decent number of random bits of rope lying around. This is obviously a stupid plan, so I'm going to do it. In particular because probably the giant hamsters are going to drown instead. I think you can walk through there, so I think we can carry on down here. Right, okay, I think I've now scheduled all of our spare chains to be, and ropes to be installed along the riverbank, so that then we can tie giant hamsters to them and see if that tempts the goblins into falling into the river. Might work. I mean, I suppose we can allow Sodalaterol to sleep sometimes rather than training animals. Someone is hauling the next batch of copper out for the bridge building because it's still not finished. Oh, I should make sure that there are no forbidden objects on that square or that square. Yes, that's fine. Far too many objects that just need putting, creatures that need putting back in their correct places. This is part of why the ablative meat shield didn't work very well, is that about 2/3 of the giant hamsters were not actually where they were meant to be. Here is a dwarf building the next, putting yet another copper bar into the bridge by climbing trees in order to get up to it. That's still not enough copper. Need to go back and find some more copper. Why is there a crowd of giant hamsters in my way? Bit worried that our adult ravens may be losing their training. Oh, most of them aren't. Let's assign a trainer to the ones that are, though.
I'm not particularly worried about this massive syphilis outbreak, given the quite large problem of Black Death.
Over to my right, Verity is not worrying about syphilis because the Black Death is a bigger problem. Oh, you've laid some more eggs. You've laid 7 eggs! Wow, that's going to be fun. Unfortunately, you're a semi-wild raven, and I'm not sure you'll stay tame long enough for them to hatch. Because I'm going to have to take your trainer off you in order that you stand some chance of hatching those eggs. So there is a danger that you're going to go back to being wild before they hatch. But
We
like,
have, what, 12
but
raven hatchlings to deal with.
well, yeah, some of them ought to be growing up soon. I don't think they stay hatchlings very long. On which subject? Where are those leopards, eh? They're still all cubs, apparently. Yes, occasional giant hamsters are forgetting their training, but I don't really mind. Like, we need to nudge their training occasionally in the direction of, well, being trained, but... So Delatarog's still asleep. Well, how's our other animal trainer getting on then? Are they asleep? Ushreer. They're busy socialising because they're currently in nominal military mode. Oh well. Oh dear, I think the raven has been driven off that nest box. So its eggs will no longer be viable. One job there is quite a lot of, I noticed, scheduled is re-equipping the cage traps with cages, so that because we've caught looks like about 20 goblins in cages scattered across the map, and so now people need to bring empty cages to refill the cage traps, and really need to get around to emptying existing cages, but too much socialising to do. We're trying to breed more dwarves. Which so far isn't working very well. How are you doing? You've installed yet another copper bar and you think you still need more. Okay. Lots of giant hamsters losing training. I think that may just be the message for, has gone down one tick in trainedness. Oh, it was about 3 years old. Leopards were meant to grow up. I'm a bit suspicious of a leopard cub who's 3 years old, though. Not as suspicious I would be as a leopard cub who's 4 years old, admittedly. Let's just quickly look that up and check that I'm right. Leopard cubs, adult at 3. I mean, maybe there's some terrible flaw where nothing can ever grow up in our world or something. Don't think that's true. I mean, our eldest dwarven child is 17, and they now become adult at 18, so we're all right for now. Here comes our bridge building dwarf with another batch of copper. It is a very big bridge. Oh, another raven has laid some eggs. Don't know which one of these ravens has laid the eggs, mind. Probably the female one. Let's mark the eggs as forbidden and dash trained female. That's that one. already not going to be randomly trained again. Yes, so we could put another dwarf into animal training, perhaps, to try to get more of it done. So I am a bit worried that the ravens are going to go wild if we're not. If we don't try to engage this. Try giving a completely different animal trainer the ability to train things, because Sodell appears to be quite busy. I wonder where animal training jobs appear in this list. Bridge still not finished. Dwarf who's building it is getting thirsty. And thus might pause construction again to go and get a drink. But not yet. Oh, an awful lot of dead goblins around. Oh, we really need to get that. Yes, we might need to drain some bits of the river, because there's a dwarf corpse in there that really ought to be actually buried. Let's try opening drain E. We are slowly managing to melt down the goblinite, at least. Slowly. Notice the big pile of copper bars in this smelter, which should eventually be put into into this stockpile, but it hasn't happened much. What? How are you fighting? Where are you fighting? I don't understand. Oh, you tried to collect something out of the drain, and things got dropped on your head as a result. Yes, okay, that's not surprising. You don't seem to be well. You seem to be getting quite seriously injured here. Excuse me while I close this drain again, and then maybe lock the door before I before I open it, so that you don't. All right, you are actually getting out of the way. No, that's someone else getting out of the way. Your life, Sir Morris, would be much better if you weren't standing there. You know, if you would get out from the drainage system. Right. I hope that you will now be willing to go to the hospital while I lock this door so you don't get back in there. Until such time as we finished sucking objects out of the river. So the Latirog is watching an immensely important surgery training, and therefore is not in a position to help me with my with training any animals. I'm slightly worried at this dwarf who is hungry and thirsty, but still insisting on building the building. I mean, it's good, but might not be good for the dwarf unless they... I think if they become dehydrated, they will actually abandon their current task and go and drink instead. So shouldn't actually die of being too enthusiastic about work. Vaguely looking at these objects and seeing if they're moving. What? You died of being battered on the head by objects in the drainage system, you idiot. I mean, yes, I did call you Sir Morris. Maybe that's shouldn't entirely be a surprise, but still. Right, I suspect we may have got us all we're getting out of drain E, so let's close that.
That's the other great thing about, having the equality thing is now I can circle all my female rulers through my commandership in times of crusade to give everybody the crusader attribute. The downside is that this takes even longer, even more people to faff with.
Right, you're still building that bridge, I'm impressed. Coming up the stairs with yet another batch of copper bars. What are you doing, incidentally? You're storing an item. Well, that's probably good. I mean, we do have an awful lot of items out here, though. You're thinking, let there be peace throughout the world. Yes, well, that would reduce the number of items you have to haul. Like when people keep dropping gloves all over the place. But you'll be grown up soon, and then we'll probably ban you from hauling items because we'll need you to socialise and try to produce some more dwarves. How do you decide where to play? I wonder. Still, our dwarven child has now grabbed a toy boat and is playing, which probably helps. Athens Asset Tagus is returning from having installed yet another bar of copper in the bridge. Still not complete. Let's go down and find more copper. Possibly once she's finished doing that, she can come and start dismantling this bridge. Surely someone should be trying to train that stray giant wild boar piglet, because if they do it now, it'll turn into a permanently tame one. It does rather appear that Sodalaterog has too many other things to do to go around training animals at the moment. Oh, another giant wild boar piglet. Well, we'll add that to the list then. Not sure giant wild boars are going to be very useful. I mean, they'll be more useful than ravens, I expect, but less picturesque. Oh, to be fair, the giant peach-faced lovebirds turned out to be surprisingly good guards. Sadly, we only had one of them and they're dead now. Which is a pity, because, like, if we managed to breed as many giant peach-faced lovebirds as we've got giant hamsters, they would probably have made fairly short work of the goblins.
Or very strange couples.
Thank you, Gareth, yes. Gareth says, all very strange couples. Sodalaterog is still in dire need of doing everything. Who are our other trainers again? Saxul and Ushrir. Who? Yes, okay. Saxul is also quite unhappy. And Ushrir is currently listening to music, even though they should be engaged in military training, possibly because they should be engaged in military training in a room that's currently flooded and where I'm not quite confident that I should let anyone into it at present. So maybe I need to accept that that bridge is not going to get rebuilt anytime soon, and I should just keep cycling the thing anyway. Oh, we have some grizzly bear cubs now. Some more grizzly bear cubs. It'll take them a little while to grow up, but maybe giant. Maybe were they ordinary war grizzlies? I think they were ordinary grizzlies, weren't they? Not giant grizzlies. Yes. I mean, it'll probably take a fair number of grizzly bears to take out a goblin, but they'll be more effective than leopards when they eventually grow up. Don't think I need to do anything about them, do I? They're fully tame. Yes. Most I need to, when they grow up, train them for war. I think we should leave the adults. I mean, we could train this one for war, but we know that the one problem with having animals trained for war is that they will run towards the enemy, which, like, is excellent in a war animal, but does tend to get them killed. So possibly we should not actually have given our grizzly bear war training, because it does make them tougher as well, but it's probably not ideal in someone you want to keep as breeding stock. We really need to buy some musical instruments, because that's just an embarrassing activity, I think. We have an immensely complicated description of a musical form. Like, possibly it doesn't need to be quite this complicated. Also, I don't seem to be able to scroll this bit. Anyway, so yes, we need musical instruments, an Ikamo, a Fukovo and a Reo in order to be able to perform that thing properly. I'll try to buy them off the traders. I'm not going to try making my own musical instruments. That's just going to take too long. We don't appear to have any at the of those three types at the moment. Oh, look, the fortress attracted no migrants this season again.
And they're hardly ever eating people's faces at the moment as well.
I would quite like it if someone would do some animal training soon. Like, it seems to have become unpopular for some reason. Have I got confused? Like, have I accidentally switched this and nobody does this? No. Yes, you're all set to a suitable work detail. I mean, I can try forcing you to do any job, but I fear that will just cause you to do completely other jobs. Let's try it. That bridge still being built? I think it is. Yes. Right, you managed to get yourself a drink at some point. Or I think now heading back downstairs to get yet more copper. In future, copper will be available nearer the surface, but we can't really rework the existing building job for that bridge to use copper from somewhere more sensible without like abandoning it, which would be terrible. It's taken a very long time to get the bridge to this state. Right, I think it's 10 past midnight and it's probably about time that I stopped doing this and went to bed, even though nothing very exciting is going on at the moment. Haven't even got any recently hatched ravens for you to look at. The ones we've got are semi-wild and no one's training them. Come and train my ravens. There are now 2 dwarves, one of whom is the one I want to be training animals, loading weapon traps, which is not quite helpful either. Giant hamsters are slowly losing their training, but like, that's fine. So yes, I think we should stop for the evening and hope that things get better in some way. Or, I mean, eventually we will run out of dwarves. Like, if we have few enough dwarves, eventually a goblin invasion will overwhelm us. And at that point, we'll have to abandon the fortress and start it again. I mean, we could start an entirely new fortress, or we could pick this one up again, I don't know. Or I could play a completely different game, I suppose. But none of that will happen tonight, because tonight it is time for bed. So I'm going to say good night. Good night.